In this video, we're going to construct a simple drum beat. You're looking at my MIDI editor window, also known as the piano roll window. Most drum plugins use general MIDI mapping, which means the kick will be on the C note in the first octave, like this. And the snare drum a D note. A variation of the snare drum on the E. Starting from F, the tom-toms will be there. Cymbals, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. At this point, the grid mode must be on, so that the notes I enter with the mouse will snap to the grid automatically. In the next step, I'm going to adjust my grid value to a quarter note. Right here. Quarter. Get the pencil tool and start entering the notes. I'm going to leave the first bar empty. It will be my count in. And you're looking at the second bar, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. These represent the beats of the bar. The first kick hit is going to be in the first beat. And then the third beat right here. And I'm going to repeat the same thing. Next bar. And 2 more bars. And it sounds like this. The kick is on the first and the third beats. In the next step, I'll be adding the snare drum hits, and those will be on the second and the fourth beats, 2 and 4. Remember, it was a D note right there, so it's going to be this and this, 2 and 4 in the first bar, 2 and 4. Four bars all set, and it sounds like this. In the last step, we're going to need a repeating cymbal pattern. I'm going to use a closed hi-hat, which is going to be an F sharp note, again in the first octave. And those are going to be eighth notes, so I need to change my grid value from a quarter note to an eighth note. And I'm going to start adding those hi-hat hits. There goes my first bar. To speed up the process, I'm going to duplicate these. And here's how it sounds like. I have a simple 4-bar drum beat, and I'll show you how to make it interesting by adding variation. First, let's have a listen. Yes, very basic rhythm, almost boring. Now, to make it more interesting, I'm going to start by changing the kicks. Currently, the kicks are on 1 and 3. I'll start by pulling the second kick drum in every bar an eighth note earlier, so that they're on 2 and instead of 3. Second kick hit. Just like that. Move every other kick drum hit by an eighth note. And it sounds like this now. Also, I'm going to add one more kick drum on the 4 and of every other bar, starting from the first bar. So let me grab the pencil tool. Here's an additional kick on 4 and then I'll do the same for the third bar, just like that. Now let's hear it. Okay, it's getting better. Now let me add some variation with the hi-hat. I'm going to change the last hi-hat hit of the first bar from a closed hi-hat to an open hi-hat. And then I'll repeat the same thing in bar 3. And let's see how it sounds like. Next, let's add a variation with the snare drum at the end of bar 4. It's going to be an 8th note followed by 2/16ths. So I'm talking about this last bar here. I need to first shorten this note, change my grid value to 16th, and add 2 more snare hits like that. And I'm going to delete these 2 hi-hats because I don't want them to overlap, and it's going to sound like this. Now I think I can go ahead and duplicate this 4-bar rhythm and make it 8 bars long. Now we have an 8th bar phrase. Lastly, let's change the first hi-hat hit with a crash cymbal to mark the beginning of a section. I'm talking about this note here. That's a crash. And don't forget to delete the second hi-hat on one end, this note here, because a real drummer would not play that. Now, let's hear the whole thing. Now, this is much better than what we had at the beginning. I'm hoping you can use some of these ideas in your own projects when you're programming drums.